Hey, how's it going? This is Melinda and welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk to you about Grail records. I think they're getting really hard to find, and quite honestly, I think it's really hard to determine what a true Grail record is. I think collectors would probably agree to disagree. So I want to talk to you about Grails, show you some records that I think would qualify as grails, and I want to hear what you think. So if you're not a subscriber to my channel, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and hit the like button. Everything you do really helps my channel out, and I thank you so much. Before I get started, I want to give a special thank you to Mike in Nebraska. He was kind enough to send this wonderful stand-up of Van Halen. This is a promotional stand-up for Right Here, Right Now, a really cool live album that came out. And that is just an absolute treasure for me. I was so excited to receive that. So thank you so much, Michael. Now, let's move on and talk about Grail records. What is a Grail? You know, according to the dictionary, it is a thing that is being earnestly pursued or sought after. So that leaves the door wide open about what a grail really is, especially when we're talking about vinyl records. You know, when I started out collecting, I'm sure my idea of a grail was a lot different than it is today. The more time goes by, you know, when early on I would say Fleetwood Mac Rumors, having that in the collection. When I finally found a decent copy of that, that was a grail. Of course, now as I've moved on and evolved, Grail records probably are something a lot different for me. They're records that are very rare. Even though Fleetwood Mac's Rumors is a really great record that I think everybody should have, there's a ton of them out there. It's not a rare record. So for me at this point, a Grail would be something that's kind of rare, hard to find. It might be something sentimental, something that means something to me, you know. I also think that at a lot of times at this point in my vinyl collecting, that the grails that I want are pretty expensive. So it's something I would need to save up for, find a good deal on, something like that. And I realize that Discogs has just about any record you could ever want at the tip of your fingers. But there's just nothing more special than walking into a record store and seeing a Grail record on the holy moly wall, digging through a bin and finding something you've been wanting for a very long time. For me, part of finding a Grail record is the experience of finding it. So I know we probably disagree on some of that, and that's okay. I'm going to show you some records that I think in one way or another qualifies as a grail. And the one I'm going to save for last checks all of the boxes for me of what a grail record should really be. And also I just want to mention, when it comes to grails, they're getting harder to find because there's more collectors out there. So there's more friendly competition about finding hard to find records. Also, there are more buyers than there are sellers. So a lot of people are holding on to these records instead of releasing them out. And they're not taking them to record stores as often because there's places like Discogs and eBay. You know, so those kinds of things come into mind when it comes to grails. Let me show you some grails that I found when my husband and I were on vacation. We took an extended trip to Florida and found some records. First off, this one was found at Tiger Records in Jacksonville, Florida. It's called Nostalgia, and it is a wonderful jazz record from 1958. Look how white and beautiful. Still in shrink. Just a really great record. Fats Navarro or Blakey, Dexter Gordon. This is a really nice, old first press jazz record on the Savoy label. The record is as mint as the cover is. So to find a 1958 record still in shrink, that clean, is a bit of a miracle in my opinion. So I think that one is a Grail record. It was a lot less expensive by finding it in a record store than if you buy it on Discogs, and the clean condition for such an old record was truly impressive. Here's another record that I would personally consider a Grail. This is Graham Parsons' debut album of his solo career called GP. He first kind of came onto the scene, and most people probably know him from being in the Byrds for a very short time. He was part of the album Sweetheart of the Rodeo, which I really love. He went on to be a member of the Flying Burrito Brothers, and he just had a really good voice. He loved country western sound. This is a wonderful solo debut. I would say his records are probably a little bit easier to find in Florida because he does have some connection to Florida. But having said that, I found this for $15, which was a really good price. And this is a beautiful copy of this record, just in fabulous condition. Now, on his solo records like this, he made the brilliant decision of teaming up with a newcomer, a beautiful artist named Emmylou Harris, and she sang harmonies with him and made his records, his 2 solo records he put out, extremely special. Here is the second one that I found at an antique store in Jacksonville, Florida. Grievous Angel. This is a white label promo, and him and Emmylou Harris again, beautiful harmonies. They are very country, but I just think they're just gorgeous songs, very well done. And even if you're not a country western fan, please look up Graham Parson and Emmylou Harris' version of Love Hurts. It will knock your socks off. I know Nazareth made it a hit, but that version is gorgeous. So I really love having these 2 Graham Parson records in my collection. Let me show you the white label promo. Beautiful condition. Can't believe I found these in an antique store. So love having this one, and I consider it a Grail because it's hard to find, clean condition. Promo copy always comes to mind when you're thinking about Grails. Here's another one I found at that same antique store. Reba McIntyre's For My Broken Heart. This was a very special and personal record for Reba. This was right after some of the members of her personnel and band died in a horrific plane crash and left her just totally shaken. She put out this wonderful album after that. The song For My Broken Heart is incredible, and it's obviously about the members of the band that she lost in the plane crash. She does a wonderful rendition of The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia on here, and a song that I personally really relate to, The Greatest Man I Never Knew. So a wonderful record. This is strictly a club edition. I don't believe it came out any other way on vinyl back in 1991, making it really hard to find, and what I would consider a Grail record. So love having that one. Again, going back to Tiger Records in Jacksonville, Florida. This is a record that I found that I thought was really cool. Sgt. Pepper by the Beatles. Of course, I have the mono version, the mobile fidelity version, the Giles Martin remix, an original copy. I have a lot of versions of this record. And yet this one is really special because it is a first press UK stereo version. And it was in really good shape. Ooh. And I love having it. I never had anything from the Beatles that was a first press from the UK. Still had its really cool insert. And it plays like a dream. So I have just about any kind of version of this album you could think of. And once I put this one on the vinyl vac and gave it a really good cleaning, this is the best sounding version of Sgt. Pepper that I now own. And that's saying a lot because the other versions I own rock. They're wonderful. But having a first press UK album by the Beatles for under $50 was a tremendous find. Here's another antique store find. Brown and Roach. And this is on the Emersey label. This came out probably about 1955. There's not a lot of Clifford Brown out there. He died very young in a car accident, tragically. So he plays tremendous trumpet, and Max Roach just slays it on the drums on here. There's a lot of wonderful drum work. I love this. To get this in this great of condition at an antique store from a 1955 album, unbelievable. And I consider that a grail. Got it for a very reasonable price as well for what it is. So good. I love Clifford Brown. I cannot believe it's so tragic that he died so young, and love having that one in the collection. Here's another really great one that I found at Music Matters in the St. Augustine area. Got a new owner for that store. He is so enthusiastic and he has a passion for vinyl. Found this one there. This is The Times They Are A-Changin' by Bob Dylan, and this is the Mobile Fidelity original master recording that came out in 1983. You can buy a mono copy from 2014 as well as a stereo version, but the stereo version is going to be what they consider the Mobile Fidelity Sound Lab. And from what I understand, the original master tapes of the stereo version of this album have deteriorated to a point where they can no longer use them. However, this back in 1983, they were still able to use the tapes. So this one does have original master recording. It's strictly from the analog tapes, and it sounds fantastic. It was in gorgeous condition. I really loved meeting the new owner of Music Matters. I've been going to that store as much as every time I go into St. Augustine, I do go into that store. So it was great to meet the new store owner, and I really loved finding some records there. That Bob Dylan one was a true grail in my opinion. This next record is a very common record, but this is a very uncommon version of it. Journey, Frontiers. And this is the half-speed mastered version. And what makes me think this is a grail is it's just not something you see every day. When I went on Discogs to put it into my collection, I noticed that more people want it than actually own it, and there hasn't been one for sale in quite a while. That tells me that is a rare record. And it is a very clean, beautiful copy, and it sounds really great. I have not done a comparison. I do have an original of this album. This is probably my favorite Journey record, although they had a lot of great stuff. I think some of my favorite songs by them, obviously Separate Ways was a huge hit, and I love that one. Also, Send Her My Love is a beautiful song that sounds incredible on here. Chain Reaction, huge, love that one. After the Fall and Faithfully, just side one is perfect in itself. So that's a kind of a rare one that I've never seen before, haven't seen again, and I consider that one a grail. Here is another one that is what I might consider a grail of the future, but I wanted to show it because it is rare that I find new music that I really like, and yet I have found an artist that I really love. This is Ayron Jones, and the album is called Child of the State. This is a really great record. I like his guitar playing, and his voice is like butter, just beautiful, soulful, and yet it rocks. I kind of, I don't know how to explain his sound, but I would say if you take a little bit of not Leonard Skinner, if you take a little bit of Lenny Kravitz and you add a little bit of Jimi Hendrix guitar playing, that's kind of where this is. And it's exciting to find new music that I really love. Now, I'll give you a heads up. The first song, right off the bat on the first track, got a couple of F-bombs. So if you have kids and you're wanting to hear this one, you may want to make sure the kids aren't around. But it's a good song. Mercy is killer. Take Me Away, great song. Killing Season is fantastic. I love the song Emily. It's a pretty killer track. And what makes this so special, it's limited to 500 copies. And I've recently discovered a website called Experience Vinyl. And I love Riverbend Records, The In Groove, Toad Hall, Books and Records is killer, Noble Records. I buy from them when I can. I really love them. But I've also found Experience Vinyl. They have some really unique stuff. And I recently picked up the Cheap Trick new record where it had a signed autographed insert that was strictly from Experience Vinyl. So this is an Experience Vinyl exclusive, limited to 500 copies, and it was on this beautiful gray vinyl. I love the label. So I've been kind of getting into Experience Vinyl. They have some really unique records. A lot of times there's autographs or just something really special. So even though I wouldn't say this is a Grail today, I think this is probably a Grail of the future. And because it's new music, I wanted to give it some recognition because I don't really find a lot of new music that I really love. So now I want to share the story with you about the record that for me is a huge Grail, what checks off all the boxes. It's nostalgic, it's rare. I found it for a great price, and it is a cherished record. And I was able to get it from Noble Records. Dylan and I've known him for a long time. The second video I ever did was a contest entry for just something for his channel. He had been around for a little less than a year, and so I've known him for a long time. And he sent me a message, and it just said, "Need this," with a picture of a record from Van Halen. And I'll be really honest, I kind of embarrassed myself because I didn't know exactly what it was. I had seen it before. A record store owner had shown it to me, but he didn't tell me what it was. He showed me some other bootlegs, and because of the way it looked, I just assumed it was a bootleg, but it wasn't. It's something much more special than that. This is a promotional official copy of 5 songs from Van Halen's first record. Let me show you the vinyl. It is on red vinyl, and here's why I thought it was a bootleg. Because it says Looney Tunes, Merry Melodies. That kind of made me think, oh, it's just a Warner Brother, kind of a fun little thing to do for a bootleg. It is not. This is an official promotional record promoting 5 songs off of Van Halen's first LP. And the story behind it was when Van Halen had already recorded their debut album, nothing was really set in stone yet. They didn't really want this logo. This wasn't something that grabbed them. And also the cover picture wasn't grabbing them. So they were still trying to figure out how they wanted to brand Van Halen. In the meantime, the members of Van Halen, including Eddie, were extremely proud of the work they had done. And Eddie had played the version of You Really Got Me, the Kinks' old record. Van Halen did a version of it that was really great. He played it to some other bands. One of them was Angel on the Casablanca label, and they liked that song so much that they decided to do a version of their own. And when Warner Brothers got wind of that, the war was on. And Warner Brothers quickly put out this particular promotional record, 5 songs by Van Halen, and they gave it to all of the radio stations to start playing on the radio. And sure enough, Van Halen's version of You Really Got Me came out first, which was what they intended. But this was sent out strictly to radio stations. So that makes this special. There is a bootleg out there too, so you want to be careful if you're looking for this. Make sure you get the one that has a little bit of a darker blue on here. And thank you so much, Dylan, for selling that to me, because that is my favorite band. It's nostalgic, it's historic. He sold it to me at a good price, along with selling me this wonderful t-shirt. For me, this is one of my favorite record store t-shirts I've ever seen. I thought it was so cool, so I wanted to own that as well. So thank you, Dylan. And when it comes to vinyl and Grail records, I would say the best way to figure out what a true Grail record is to you is put yourself in this scenario. You only had to pull 10 to 20 records out of your collection. Whatever 20 you pick, those are your Grail records. I think no matter whatever reason you decided to pull those for sentimental value, because you paid a lot for it, because they're rare, that's a Grail record. That's how I feel about it, and let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.